This is the Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
And we love movies.
And you know what we love to hate and hate to love,
What?
James?
What?
It's Disney.
Of course.
It's Disney. And, they've got their hooks in us, and they've just come out with their Disney Plus Day. We've got all kinds of announcements pertaining to the MCU, mostly. So we're going to be talking about Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, everything else that they have brought out to us. We've got sneak peeks. But you're also bringing us a review today, right?
Yeah, and this is not a Marvel DC movie review. This is a really nice, classic family heart-to-heart movie starring Joaquin Phoenix in the latest film called Come On, Come On, which is coming out this Friday. And to be honest, I'm maybe a little biased when I am reviewing this, just because Joaquin Phoenix does play a radio journalist. So I was able to really connect with this character. But we will talk about what makes Come On, Come On pretty great, I think. But we're also talking about something else that's really great, and that's casting calls, because we have some very interesting, fun casting calls for this week that you can get involved in as soon as possible. And then we also have this interview with this little voiceover actor. He's up and coming. He's been around a little bit. You may have heard him. Billy West. Billy West, the voiceover artist who is known to be the voice of everybody from Doug, Ren and Stimpy, Futurama, Fry, Dr. Zoidberg, Professor Farnsworth. Just some small, characters that, hasn't really been... Yeah. So we had the opportunity and the pleasure to talk to Billy West. He was actually in Boston receiving the Boston Comedy Festival's Lifetime Achievement Award. So really happy to be able to talk to Billy West. And quite the episode. But thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Hub on Hollywood. If you're watching us on YouTube, please smash that like button, that subscribe button, give us a follow, comment down below. If you're watching us, or rather listening to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services, thank you very much. Give us a follow. You can listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And you can also find us on the social medias at Hub on Hollywood. But Jamie, without further ado, we have to get into Disney Plus Day because there's so much to dissect, so much to talk about. What first thing out of the list of things that they released and unveiled, what caught your eye the most?
Well, a couple of things, James. A couple of these projects I wasn't even aware were kind of in the works. I think the one that shocked me the most was Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac. I'm so excited to see Oscar Isaac entering the MCU, and he's just such an incredible actor with tremendous range. And he can be pretty terrifying. Some of the things that I've seen him in before, he can be pretty terrifying. He's not just the happy-go-lucky Poe, trying to destroy the Empire. Like, he's got serious Oscar-worthy acting chops.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. So he's going to be in Moon Knight. He's going to be the titular character there. So it sounds a little bit like Batman-esque. He's this globe-trotting action-adventure vigilante who suffers from multiple identities, right, James?
Right, yeah, I haven't learned too much about Moon Knight before hearing about the casting of Oscar Isaac, but from what I've learned already, Moon Knight seems to be kind of like Deadpool-esque, where he kind of speaks his mind, not afraid to insult anybody to their face, and has a little fun with his character, known to drop a few F-bombs here and there. But Moon Knight, apparently the son of a rabbi, according to Wikipedia. Mark Spector is a former Marine and CIA operative who becomes a mercenary despite his conflict feelings about violence and morality. And then there's, I guess he becomes involved with this Egyptian moon god, and then he's granted these powers. And it's pretty interesting because he can apparently absorb other people's powers. But as you mentioned, Oscar Isaac, incredible actor, and I'm really excited to see what he does with this role. I believe it's going to be a Disney Plus series, as opposed to a movie right now at this moment. It looks like it's going to be a series.
Right, that's exactly what they're saying here. Here's the Marvel synopsis, the rest of it. So those multiple identities that live inside him, are thrust into a deadly war of the gods against the backdrop of modern and ancient Egypt. Moon Knight, directed by executive producer Mohammed Diab, and Jeremy Slater's the head writer. This is coming to Disney Plus in 2022, and it looks just phenomenal. James, I don't know if you have the little sizzle reel in front of you, but I think it might be worth a little watch.
Yeah, we do. So let's hit that in 3, 2, and 1.
I can't tell the
So it looks
difference.
like Oscar Isaac is in a museum of some
Between my
sorts,
waking
or dealing
life
with artifacts, and this may be where he
and
comes in
dreams.
contact with this Egyptian god.
The voice in your head.
Yeah, we're already getting Batman-esque vibes.
Yeah, it's as if
Very dark.
Batman was wearing a white kind of costume, but the costume design of Moon
Right.
Knight is very, very cool. And so I'm pretty sure that they're developing that, and it's going to look just like, or very similar to how it is in the comics. So yeah, like I said, Oscar Isaac, a great actor, so I'm very excited that he's joining the MCU. And so this is one of the projects that I'm looking forward to the most. Also, in addition to that, as well as She-Hulk, as you mentioned, also Miss Marvel. But this one was a big surprise to me. X-Men 97, which is the X-Men animated series,
yeah.
which many people kind of feel like is the definitive version of these X-Men characters. And I grew up watching this version of X-Men as well. So they're actually picking up right where the series left off. And this will be debuting in 2023. And the best thing about this is that many of the voiceover actors from the original series, they're returning, including Cal Dodd, who voices Wolverine, Lenmore Zan, who plays Jubilee, I believe. But they also have new cast members as well. So this was a big show growing up, and this was a big surprise when Disney Plus revealed this one. But what about yourself? What are you excited to see?
Well, I mean, the X-Men, like you said, kids everywhere, 90s kids everywhere grew up with that, so that's really cool. Miss Marvel's got me excited. Miss Marvel's got me super excited. She's just, the actress that they've chosen is just so, she's adorable. Yeah. She's adorable, and she's got this, like, inner radiance, this inner confidence, and it looks so great. So she is playing Kamala Khan, a 16-year-old Pakistani-American from Jersey City, whose favorite Avenger is Captain Marvel, and she's always struggled to find her place in the world until, boom, she gets superpowers, and she becomes Little Miss Marvel. And so I watched a little bit of the sizzle reel on this one also. It was only like 18 seconds long, but it was definitely enough to get me hooked. And there's one line in particular where she says, little brown girls from Jersey City don't save the world. And her friend says, well, maybe now they do. And that really resonated with me. You know, my father was a brown kid from Jersey City also. So that really resonated with me. It looks like it's going to be really fun. Definitely a lot lighter than Moon Knight. Moon Knight looks like they're going that dark route. This looks like a lot more fun.
Yeah.
But again, it's going to be a Disney Plus series, and we are going to see Miss Marvel eventually make her way into the main Avengers movies. So that's going to be just super, super cool.
Now, one thing I'm not too excited about, and this is I'm conflicted because among the releases or the teases is Agatha, House of Harkness. Of course, Agatha, she was the main protagonist in WandaVision, and I'm a big fan of Catherine Hahn. I'm a big fan of the Agatha character. But kind of like with what we're seeing during this Disney Plus Day dump, we're just seeing like, okay, everybody gets a spinoff. Again, like I said, I really like Agatha. I really love Catherine Hahn. But it feels like Disney is doing what Disney does and is starting the the money train trying to squeeze out pennies from every single IP or character that they currently own. And so, yeah, you know, Disney giveth, and I feel like Disney taketh in some way.
Taketh
and
your
so
money.
I'm not sure. Yeah, they take the money all the time, all the way. So that's one thing I'm not too excited about, but it seems like you're totally on board with Agatha.
Oh no, I'm 100% on board. I was actually hoping that this would happen. You know, the moment that Agatha appeared in WandaVision, I loved her. The actress, Catherine Hahn, is just so on point and sassy and succinct with her movements and her facial expressions and the way that she speaks, and like just everything is intentional and effective, and I love it, and it's just so over the top, but not in an obnoxious way, in just a really effective way. So I would love to see more of her. But I don't, you know, here's what I'm worried about. I don't want them to get like overly serious with it. What I really loved about Catherine Hahn's acting was just her sassiness and like the humorous part of it. And I want to see more of that. You know, I don't want this to be an overly serious series. I want it to be a lot of fun because, man, Catherine Hahn has that range. She has the ability to pull anything off. I just hope that the writing is there and that it's not just a money grab. Like, I want to be entertained. I'm 100% here for that one.
Right. So we'll have to wait and see. But just have to wait and see how well she does in this, and again, what the storyline is and how it may interconnect again with WandaVision and the rest of the multiverse MCU. But yeah, going down the list, what else we have? We have Spider-Man Freshman Year, which is going to be an animated series on Disney Plus, as well as I Am Groot.
Yeah, and we've also got a Secret Invasion, which is going to have Nick Fury in it. Our Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury. And Marvel describes it as a crossover comic event series showcasing a faction of shape-shifting Skrulls who have been infiltrating the Earth for years. So we've been, you know, conjecturing about that since for a
Captain
while,
Marvel.
for years, since we've and since we've gotten to know the Skrulls through Captain Marvel. So that one makes sense. I thought we'd see that in the movies, but you know, what I do appreciate is that they're giving these storylines and these kind of comic stories time to breathe. They're giving, you know, so that you have time to go in there and really invest in the story and get all the details, and it's comics on screen, and it's really cool. They're making a lot of money off of it, but it's an extensive amount of content being transformed into this, you know, extensive amount of viewing on Disney Plus. One thing I wanted to note, James, the Spider-Man cartoon, Tom Holland is not going to be voicing that, and that's not a big surprise. Like
right.
The big actors don't normally or don't always, you know, voice the animated versions. But somebody online was like throwing down. They're like, oh, Tom Holland's on his way out. They're kicking him to the curb. No more Tom Holland. Like, I wanted to like throw my earrings off and like fight him.
That's what they want you to
Tom
do.
Holland's
That's a
not
troll.
going anywhere.
That's a troll
I know.
online.
I know.
Yeah, there's no way Disney's dumping their money tree right now in what is Tom Holland. So yeah, just people are going to be ridiculous, and just like exactly. We are ridiculous with some of our opinions. Some opinions are less accurate or believable than others.
Right, but no, it was like a legit article, like saying, "Oh, Tom Holland's on his way out." I'm like, really?
Oh, okay,
no,
yeah, whoever wrote that article
this
needs
is not
to get
true.
yeah, they need to get another day job. Because Tom Holland's here to stay for years, and he's going to be kicking around Sony and over here with Disney as well. But let us know what you think. What during this Disney Plus Day news dump did what caught your eye? What show are you most excited to watch? Again, I'm digging Moon Knight, She-Hulk, X-Men '97. But yeah, comment down below on what you're excited about. Were you excited about what they released? I know some Star Wars fans were expecting more news in the Star Wars universe, but
Yeah.
that has yet to be seen. But let us know down below. But I'll let you know what I think about this next movie starring Joaquin Phoenix. It's called Come On,
Yes.
Come On, and it comes out this Friday. And it's about a radio journalist who embarks on a cross-country trip with his young nephew. Again, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Gabby Hoffman, and Woody Norman, who is this child actor who the movie is really on the shoulders of both Joaquin Phoenix and Woody Norman, this 9-year-old boy, and their relationship. Because if you don't buy their relationship, then the whole movie kind of falls apart. But this is written and directed by Mike Mills. It's a beautiful film, and it feels like you're really like a fly on the wall, watching family and friends, in this story work their way through personal struggles and their careers. Joaquin Phoenix is given the task and the responsibility of taking care of his sister's 9-year-old son as she tries to help her husband with mental disorders and addiction. And they go to different cities across the U.S. for a project that he's working on, which is interviewing kids all across the U.S., including in Los Angeles, New Orleans, Baltimore, New York City, interviewing them about their plans for the future, about their dreams, what they envision. And this is some of the best acting I've seen all year long, and I think this is definitely one of my top films of the year. Not only is it a really good story, is it loving, charming, but the movie itself is also beautifully filmed, shot in black and white. The cities that they go to look incredible and make you want to actually visit some of those spots. But Come On, Come On is getting rave reviews all around. On IMDb, 7.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 90%. Metacritic, 83%. So I like I said, I'm a little biased because the main character is a radio journalist, so it shows a lot of him interviewing people. It shows him teaching his nephew how to use the microphone, the recording equipment. So that I really thought was fun, as well as the interviews with the other kids. But this is a heartwarming, emotional, uplifting, fun movie, which I highly recommend if you are able to watch it in theaters. But come on, come on.
That's
come on,
great.
let's go to the movies.
Come
watch
on,
this
watch
movie.
it. Let's go,
Watch
James.
this.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And, this kind of reminds me of, have you heard of the radio series that Steve Hartman used to do for CBS, Everybody Has a Story?
Maybe.
He did that series from 1998 to 2004, and what he would do is he would pick a random name from a local phone book, throw a dart at the map, pick a random person in the phone book from wherever wherever the dart landed, and then he'd call that person and he'd tell their story. It was incredible. So this movie kind of sounds a little bit like that if he's going around and he's telling children's stories. But I just wanted to say about Joaquin Phoenix, he is the definition of method acting. Joaquin he's a machine. He's incredible. So it doesn't surprise me that you buy, 100% into his performance, because there are very few bad movies that Joaquin does. So that's really great.
While watching it, I was thinking that Joaquin must have spent some time with NPR reporters, because they use the exact equipment, setup, microphones, headsets, and the same kind of interviewing style that the NPR or public radio reporters or journalists do. And so I was fully engaged in the story, and because he was doing the job, I would say, accurately, it made it even more believable and enjoyable for myself. And that was part of the fun also. Kind of, I could put myself in that situation. And he explains why he loves journalism. And then, of course, again, at the core of this is a story about a man, his nephew, and their bond and their relationship. And so, the acting all around. And again, Woody Norman, the child actor, phenomenal, because I honestly could not tell that he was acting. It looked like somebody just turned on a camcorder, and this is just what a 9-year-old does, and behaves and sees the world. And so I thought it was a beautiful film, both visually and on a storytelling way as well. So I recommend Come On, Come On, again, coming out to theaters this Friday.
Awesome. Well, you should come on, and follow us, The Hub on Hollywood. We're everywhere that you want to be. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can hear us wherever podcasts are heard, and we're also here on YouTube. So come on in, join the conversation, let us know what we should be watching, tell us what you think. And one of the things that we bring to you, James, incredible interviews, which you got.
Yeah, that's right. So I was able to sit down and talk to Billy West. Actually, we were standing up the entire time. But Billy West, he was in Boston, and he was receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Boston Comedy Festival. And he was gracious enough to give us his time to talk about his career, talk about his voiceover work. So if you are into voiceover acting, if you're into any of the TV shows from the 90s through the 2000s, this interview is for you. But without further ado, let's just go right into my interview with Billy West. We're in the backstage with Billy West. Billy, thank you so much for taking the time to talk. And again, congratulations on the Boston Comedy Festival Lifetime Achievement Award. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels great. I've never gotten an award for anything. I've been in animation for 30 years and commercials and whatnot, and I've never even been nominated for an Emmy, so I said that I was like the Susan Lucci of animation. But hey, when they give me one, I'll give it back.
Yeah, it's a crime, yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny to go down in history as the person that said I don't want it?
So we have to talk about your I guess your long list of roles from the very beginning. I guess Doug was the main or first voiceover big gig you landed.
One of them, yeah, it was Nickelodeon.
He was Doug Funny. He was 11-and-a-half-year-old,
tweener, I guess was the word.
and let's see. Yeah, and I had a girlfriend, Patty Mayonnaise, and a dog named Pork Chop. And hey, loser, what are you doing talking to them? You should talk to me. I'm running for office, so vote for this.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Doug is actually based off, or not based off of, but I guess as a child, I guess you may have had similar way of speaking.
Well, the guy that created the show, that basically was him as a kid. He did a lot of fantasizing, and he was very sensitive, and I was pretty much the same way. And then that sort of in between being a teenager and a kid was hard to strike a balance, you know. So it was just kind of a higher voice. But at the same time, I had auditioned for Ren and Stimpy, and I was doing that show. Mm-hmm. While I was doing this sweet little show, and then there was this demonic show.
I think that along with Doug was one of the first cartoons. I was a Nickelodeon kid. You know, there's like a Disney group and a Nickelodeon group.
Yeah.
I fell into the Nickelodeon camp, and Ren and Stimpy, again, as a very young lad myself, I watched it. Didn't get all the jokes at the time, but you could appreciate the chaos.
Your parents let you watch that?
I'm not sure if you know the movie Event Horizon.
Where do they live? They have to be arrested. They have to be arrested for abuse.
I think it builds character. I think it does.
In other words, I raised you.
Basically.
Well, you look like you turned out okay to me.
I think so.
Yeah.
And is there, I think I've heard Ren and Stimpy, a relaunch of the show. Is that accurate?
Yeah, they're talking about that now. And we'll see what happens. But it was manic. It was really manic, and it was a lot of screaming and yelling. You know, I mean, I'd come out of there with barely able to talk. And then I'd have to pull it together for the next day, you know.
Hey, Ren, will you button me? Will you shut up, you fool? Else I shall kill you, you pig!
You know, and I'd be like...
So I love how you can just fall right back into the characters at any moment. Does it feel like you're like a jukebox when people stop you on the street? They just start yelling out characters, and do you oblige?
Well, unlike a jukebox, I don't make any money. So no, I'm always, if people want to hear that stuff, I'm always happy to do stuff like at the conventions. People come to hear you. You know, they just want to sit and watch, and you know, and I play to them. You know,
Shut up and take my money.
or
Greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Good news, everyone. Bad news. And let's see. She's a beautiful ship, all right. I'm gonna fly her brains out. Yeah. And how about some food? Where's the cake? The big lifetime achievement cake. There's no cake. Yeah. I'm scuttling.
So right now I'm in heaven. Basically, I'm in heaven right now. Again, does that ever cross your mind, or how often does it cross your mind that you are a major influence in countless who you used to be children, now adults, and obviously you're still continuing it with new shows like Disenchantment.
You know what it is? I'm doing what I watched and was inspired by as a child. I was one of these kids. I didn't have a very happy home life, you know. It was like a hell house, and so my escape was to run around and create little characters and do voices, and I learned to play music, and you know, just escape. And but I mean, I listened to all my heroes doing these voices in these shows, and I actually grew up to work with some of them. Some of my idols. And you know what? They always say like the same kind of thing. We were saving a seat for you. You know, where you been? So now I say that to little nippers that want to do voiceover. He said, come on, the industry needs you, man. You know, saving a seat for you.
Is there anything that, you know, your fans, should be aware of? Any message to them?
I'm on Twitter, the Billy West, and Disenchantment is on Netflix, and we're doing another season of it. Just was recording stuff the other day, and that's really fun. It's so different from Futurama. It's a whole different show. Different kind of humor too, but good. So yeah.
And there's a final word. Goodbye.
Excellent. And again, a big shout out to Billy West. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. But thank you for watching us. And as a reward for watching us and listening to us on the Hub on Hollywood, we're going to tell you some nice casting calls that are happening locally. First, beginning with Boston Casting, they're looking for a female spokesperson for a commercial. This person must have teleprompter experience. So if you have teleprompter experience, this is for you. This is a non-union gig shooting on December 7th. Pays $800. So if you are a woman who can fill a spokesperson role for a commercial, email bostoncasting@gmail.com. You know, headshot, resume, your teleprompter experience. bostoncasting@gmail.com.
All right. It looks like Boston Casting is also looking for girls 15 to 18 years old with theater experience for a feature film. This film is going to be shooting this winter in the Boston area. It pays pretty well, so you're going to want to send a headshot, acting resume, contact info, where you live, all of that to bostoncasting5@gmail.com.
Okay, Boston Casting also looking for lookalikes. They're looking for, do you look like Janet Jackson? Do you know anyone who looks like Janet Jackson? Or even Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis? This is for the Dance with Somebody movie that's being made. So we'll include a photo, but if you look like Janet Jackson, Jimmy Jam, or Terry Lewis, send in your headshot, your resume, and everything else. Send that to Dance with Somebody Extras @gmail.com. dancewithsomebodyextras@gmail.com.
Okay, and we talked to you last week about the Boston Strangler movie. We had the union casting call already last weekend. They're now looking for non-union talent. If you are a non-union actor and you want to get in on the Boston Strangler movie, and now is the time to submit. In particular, they're looking for men and women aged 25 and older with an early 1960s kind of period look, like if you have the short hair for women or long hair for men. That's kind of what they're looking for here. And we're going to do this through Billy Dowd Casting. So for everyone who is non-union, you're going to want to go ahead online and register with Billy Dowd Casting. Just search for Billy Dowd Casting. That's DOWD.
All right, so yeah, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of The Hub on Hollywood. Like I said, if you are not following us already on the social medias or on YouTube or on our on Spotify, iHeartRadio, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Give us a follow. Give us some love.
Come on.
But for The Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie. See you next time.